Hey, um, I told you all that I would give you an update about the commissioners meeting and the opioid funding. And, it's been a week, so I apologize. Things got a little hectic. And I also just needed some time to sit with it, the emotions, put some more puzzle pieces together, kind of think through this. So, I'm going to put in the comments underneath this the my testimony that I gave at the county commissioners meeting. It gives you a good picture of what we were asking. Rescind their recent allocation for $209,000 for an SRO, and since then I've done a little bit more digging and understanding. Also, some of what the commissioner said at that meeting, shown a little more light on it. So we're asking for them to not fund an SRO for 6 central Aroostook schools, small schools, one of which is Limestone, Caswell area, and Commissioner Dobbins, William Dobbins, is the superintendent of those schools. He worked on the proposal for the SRO with the sheriff, Peter Johnson, who the sheriff sits on the opioid task force. So 2 folks that knew about the funding opportunity, they knew about the opioid settlement, they knew there was extra money, worked to put this proposal together, and then their 2 other buddies voted on it to approve it. I've heard, an SRO plays a role. I agree. I'm not anti-law enforcement. I just went to a law enforcement training. I appreciate working with law enforcement. I need them almost every day at my job. I'm not anti-law enforcement. But I do believe in evidence-based practice and research and also experience. I'm sure so many of you know someone impacted by substance use disorder, and you know that having a cop in school was not the answer for prevention, for treatment, any of it. I talk about the DARE program in my testimony. A lot of folks talked about the DARE program. I was a DARE kid, right? Like so many of us were. And it didn't work. It doesn't work. There's even research that said it actually made it worse. So the program that they're looking to use, called LEAD, Law Enforcement Against Drugs, Creative, to me and to many others, sounds like a repackaged DARE. I'm not sure why, when we have so much evidence saying that doesn't work, why we would want to do it again and waste a ton of money. The other thing that came out at the commissioners meeting is that the SRO, the school resource officer, would be a sworn sheriff's deputy who would fill in for vacation time and overtime and be on call. And so they would be an active duty officer. And based on the budget that you can find online on aroostookcounty.me.us, you can find their budget that they proposed. The opioid settlement funds are supposed to pay for the entire yearly salary of this sworn officer. $209,000. Now, granted, a portion of that, like $30,000 plus a little extras for a vehicle that they're going to buy for the sheriff's department. And then it's like 50, 60,000 that's like salary plus benefits. So they want to spend $209,000 out of our opioid settlement funds on another cop. Again, I'm not anti-law enforcement. And honestly, I support paying law enforcement a decent salary. I think they deserve it. And this money specifically is not for that. This money is for addressing the opioid epidemic in Aroostook County. And so the commissioner said out loud that that was what they were planning to do with it. I've done a little bit of digging and questioning. I'm not sure that the car would even be an approved purchase. I plan to ask some more well-versed folks than myself, because this was a court settlement. So there are, memorandums, and there are documents out there that say, this is how you should be spending this money. This is what you should be spending it on. Because people died for this money. So we should be spending it judiciously, right? The other piece that came out at the end of the meeting, hold on, let me pause there. So I spoke, and then there were, I think, 8 others, or 8 total of us that spoke up and shared our thoughts about this, all asking them to rescind their decision. Some very passionate people who have lost loved ones, they shared emotional trauma in this meeting. It was beautiful. It was wonderful to hear so many folks stand up and speak and say, this isn't right. This isn't how it should be done. Not only just like the program isn't right, but the way that y'all did it, right? Like the commissioner, who is the superintendent of a few of the schools that will be receiving this program, and the sheriff who sits on the task force, did it behind closed doors, presented it to their buddies, and they voted on it. They ignored the task force. They ignored the professionals, the experts in the field. They ignored them. They didn't show them the proposal. They just said, hey, we think this is a good idea. You can find it. The minutes are online. The task force said, why did you do that this way? No one else got to do it this way. Everyone else had to submit a letter of intent, and they had to submit a super long request for proposal. Like, there are methods that they've been using for every other proposal. And I believe every other proposal was tapped out at $75,000, not $209,000. So they gave themselves extra money. They worked with their buddies on it, and then 2 men who have no credentials voted on it to approve it. And so yeah, we showed up in force, and we spoke passionately. It was great. And the whole time, well, first, Commissioner Dobbins, who helped write the proposal, was late. So he missed about 1/3 of the testimony given, including mine. And he sat down and crossed his arms and rolled his eyes and shook his head the whole time that people were presenting and talking. And the other commissioners, Commissioner DeVoe didn't want to listen. His body language was extremely disrespectful to everyone, covered his face, didn't engage until the end when he asked what everyone's credentials were. We were like, what? You have a task force with credentials. A few of us had credentials. I'm an LCSW. There's a couple more, people that have actual degrees, but also people with lived experience spoke. Loved ones, people who tried to get their daughter help, and credentials, that's what you're gonna ask about anyway. And then they campaigned essentially for the new jail. Now, I am not against a jail. Our jail in Aroostook County is falling apart. It is really old. It's in bad shape. It doesn't hold the people it needs to hold. I get it. It's not good. It's not a good place. But when we're talking about an SRO and prevention and opioid settlement funds from people dying, and you think that's a good opportunity to campaign for the new jail, I think you missed the pitch. I think you missed the whole point of us being there. And it was so off base. It was really discouraging, honestly. Most of us kind of met up in the parking lot after, and we knew that they weren't taking into account what we said. They disregarded us. They're going to do what they want to do, which, it is their prerogative, right? They are the elected county officials. Elected, meaning we can unelect them. And I think that it's really important to shine a light on this, because I'm sure this is not the only time that there's been some sort of, self-dealing or buddy handshake. Let's, we need money here. Let's move it from there. Like, it's not the first time, and it probably won't be the last, because Aroostook County is getting a significant amount of opioid settlement funds over the next 15 years. So what I'm asking now, because I think we lost this battle, is for everyone to start paying attention, right? Go online, read the minutes, show up at the meetings. They are open to the public. You can join on Zoom and watch if you want. I think it is so important for all of us to pay attention to what our elected officials are doing at every level, county commissioners included. Probably most of you don't even know who your county commissioner is. It's not something we pay a lot of attention to. But when they're making decisions like this, we need to be paying attention.